What's up guys, Chance here and welcome back to another episode. What's up guys, Chance here and welcome back to another episode of my Modern Warfare Camo Guide series. In this series, I break down exactly which attachment combinations you should be using to help make each camo as easy as possible to obtain. Check the timestamps down below in the description if you're looking to skip ahead for tips and attachment combos for any specific camo. Before we get into it, I do stream on Twitch every Wednesday and Sunday night at 7:30 PM Australian Eastern Time. So if you want to discuss anything I mentioned in this video or anything Call of Duty related, then head on over and hit that follow button so that you get notified when I go live. In today's episode, we're taking a look at the new AN-94 assault rifle, which you'll unlock for free at tier 31 of the Battle Pass in Season 5. It's a fully automatic weapon but has a unique 2 burst when you first start firing, so your first 2 shots are fired really quickly before it converts to a more traditional assault rifle. In case you're unaware, every pull of the trigger will initiate the 2-shot burst. So if you take out an enemy and then get into a gunfight with another enemy, your first shot will fire the 2-round burst. It's not tied to the magazine, but rather each pull of the trigger, so you don't need to reload to regain access to that 2-shot burst, as long as you stop firing at some stage. Kicking things off, once you hit weapon level 2, you can start gaining progress to your first passive camo, which you'll just need 800 kills for. As always, this is the most straightforward camo, which you'll complete naturally, so we'll move right on. As is normally the case, there really aren't any major attachments of note until you reach level 9 when you unlock the Merc foregrip. This is the first attachment that I'd suggest is a must-have, and you can attach any other attachments as you unlock them at this stage. We'll jump into some testing on the Merc foregrip in a little bit when I break down which attachments will help you with your hipfire camos, but even before then this is a great attachment to throw on. At level 10 you'll unlock the Woodland camos, which you'll need 125 headshots for. These are again a fairly passive camo for the most part, and there's really nothing you can do to speed this up, so I wouldn't give too much attention to them, unless it ends up being one of the last camos you have left at the end. At that point, you can try to focus on aiming for the head, but leading up until then, I wouldn't make it a priority for you. At level 17, you can start recording crouch kills. You'll need a total of 160 crouch kills to finish these camos, which is quite a bit, so just a quick tip on crouch kills in general here, to help make these a little easier. I would recommend against moving around in a crouch position because it's super slow and you're not very mobile while in a crouched position. Instead, just get into the habit of crouching just as you're getting into a gunfight. This will mean you can still maneuver around really well, and you're crouching just as you're entering a gunfight. You'll also be a bit of a moving target, making you a bit more difficult for your enemy to track you. There aren't any other important attachments worth noting except for the 5mm laser, which you unlock at level 20. It's up to you whether or not you equip this right away. Personally, I stray away from it until I'm working on my hipfire kills, but at level 24 I definitely throw it on because at this stage you can start racking up those hipfire kills. Now before I break down some of the benefits of using the 5mm laser as well as the Merc foregrip that you should already have attached, let's first discuss some basic strategies you should be implementing to help with those hipfire kills. I'd encourage you to group your crouch kills and your hipfire kills together by crouching and hipfiring at the same time. This will go a long way to earning progress towards both camos at the same time and saving you plenty of time in the long run. Additionally, make sure you're utilising the aim assist mechanic if you're on console while strafing from side to side while you're hipfiring at your enemy. This will ensure you're hitting as many shots as possible by helping you stick on your target. Now let's take a look at some of the stats of my recommended attachments. If we take a look at the base hipfire spread for the AN-94, at 1080p the maximum hipfire spread is 153 square pixels. This is the point where your hipfire is at its greatest when you're in full fire mode. As we've discussed previously, your starting hipfire spread is only an indication of your spread for your first bullet, and this expands out to your maximum spread very quickly. Additionally, being in a crouched or prone position only reduces your starting hipfire spread. It has no impact on your maximum spread at all. By the time you get to the hipfire camos, you've already unlocked the 2 attachments that will give you the greatest advantage here, being the 5mm laser and the Merc foregrip. You should definitely have both of these attached at this point. It really doesn't matter what else you have attached, but these 2 attachments will reduce your hipfire spread down to 70 square pixels, which is a massive 54% reduction. What you may have noticed with the lasers that's really interesting with the AN-94 is that you actually unlock the 5mm laser before the 1mm laser, which is very different to most other weapons in Modern Warfare. That means when you unlock the ability to start earning your hipfire camos, you've already unlocked the best attachments to help you with this. For interest's sake though, I did take a look at the 1mm stats here too when paired with the Merc foregrip, just in case there's anyone out there that really dislikes the 5mm laser, because it can give away your position. You won't have the 1mm laser unlocked yet, but if you choose to equip it when you do unlock it, This will adjust your hipfire spread to 96 square pixels or a 37% reduction to the base spread. Personally, I do prefer the 5mm for this camo just because it gives you the tightest hipfire spread possible, which really is the main focus for most camo grinders since we're trying to earn these as efficiently as possible. As I've mentioned before in previous videos, interestingly, the spot where your laser is pointing is not actually in the center of your hipfire spread, and at times it's not within your crosshairs at all, which is really deceiving. Try not to get distracted by where your laser is pointing, because if you're aiming this at your target, you'll be really inaccurate with your shots. It's hard to do at first, but a good habit to get into is remain focused on the center of your crosshairs and pretend the laser doesn't even exist. You'll have a good 8 levels to focus solely on your crouch and hipfire kills before you need to consider changing up your build, so during this time, I would recommend the following attachment combination. The AN-94 sonic brake, the 5mm laser, Merc foregrip, granulated grip tape, and the recon weapon perk. Aside from the laser and foregrip, the rest of these are up to personal preference and none of them provide any significant advantage, so if you want to change any of the other 3, feel free. When working on your hipfire kills, personally I prefer not to equip an optic as the iron sights remind me that I should be avoiding aiming down sight at close and even mid-range. Moving right on, and there's a couple of things to note at level 32. You'll unlock the 45 round mags, which may be worth throwing onto your build at a later stage. However, at this point, there are some other attachments that are going to help us more specifically with the particular camos we're working on at the moment, because at level 32, you're also now able to start working on your long shot kills. You need a total of 100 here, which is quite a lot, and this is going to take some grinding. Unfortunately, with the AN-94, you don't have access to a single attachment that's going to help you in terms of your damage range here, and you won't unlock any for some time. So instead, I'd continue to focus on your crouch and hipfire kills, and throw on some attachments to help with your recoil at the longer ranges. Adjusting the current build slightly, I would remove the granulated grip tape and replace this with an optic of your choice. Personally, I prefer the Solo Zero Mini due to its low profile and clear sight. However, this is just personal preference and you can equip any optic you like. The optic is going to help with your accuracy at the longer distances, while the laser and Merc foregrip will continue to come in handy for those hipfire kills. I do suggest the AN-94 sonic brake, which helps the side-to-side bounce of the AN-94. The recoil comparison of this build with and without the sonic brake shows here why you should have it equipped while working on your long shot kills. It just provides a bit of a tighter pattern with less side-to-side bounce, which can make it difficult to hit targets at range. At level 39, you can start working on your mounted camos, and again, this will be a bit of a grind for you because you need a total of 100 of these. As always, I would recommend grouping these with your long shot kills by mounting in high traffic, long line of sight areas such as straight down the middle on shoot house. I would also recommend using the deployable cover field upgrade at this time, so that you can deploy that in any nice long line of sight areas and mount up on it so you're progressing both camos at the same time. This will save you a lot of hassle in the long run. Finally, at level 45, 13 levels after gaining access to the long shot camos, you can finally equip your first attachment that's going to increase your damage range. Before we jump into the stats, it's worth noting that when it comes to the AN-94, anything beyond 38 meters will register as a long shot. So when we break down the attachments, we're only going to look at the effect they have on the weapon's performance beyond 30 meters. Additionally, without the recon weapon perk, enemy nameplates are visible to a distance of 50 meters. The AN-94 with no attachments will be a 5-shot kill at any distance beyond that 38 meter long shot range, assuming you're hitting the upper torso. If you equip the newly unlocked AN-94 Factory X 438mm barrel, you'll open up a sizable 4-shot kill range out to 57 meters. Not only that, but it's also going to decrease your recoil, which is a fairly big advantage when trying to stay on target at long ranges. Taking a look at the new level 45 build, I would suggest sticking with the 5mm laser, the Merc foregrip, an optic of your choice, and the recon weapon perk, as well as obviously adding in the 438mm barrel. If you've already finished your hipfire kills, it's not a bad idea to swap in the AN-94 sonic brake for the laser to reduce some of that side-to-side bounce we had a look at earlier. Once you hit level 47, you'll be able to start earning your Tiger camos for getting kills with all attachments. You need a total of 180 for this one, but as long as you're using the builds I suggest from here on out, this will be a passive camo that you complete naturally without any trouble. While you're working on your long shot kills, you should gain access to the Stripes camo at level 54 for getting kills shortly after reloading. Any kill within 5 seconds of reloading will count towards your tally. So I would fire a round and reload immediately each time you spawn, and if roughly 5 seconds pass, I would fire another round and reload again. Additionally, each time you get a kill, reload immediately unless you've already got an enemy right in front of you. This will probably result in some unnecessary deaths, but this makes the Stripes camo progress super quickly, and you'll be surprised at how easily you can get these done. In case you weren't aware, if you get multiple kills after you reload, as long as they're all within 5 seconds of reloading, they will all count towards this camo. You're not limited to 1 kill per reload, so if you've got multiple enemies within sight and you're still within 5 seconds of a reload, take them all out to help fast track this camo a little bit. As for reload time, the reload time for the standard magazine is 2.42 seconds, but at this point you will already have sleight of hand unlocked, and for as long as it takes to complete all the Stripes camos, you should have this equipped. With sleight of hand, you will cut your reload time down to 1.85 seconds. This isn't as big of an advantage as you get with some of the other weapons when you equip sleight of hand, but it's still going to make your job a lot easier than if you opt not to use this for your reload camos. If we revisit the current build, we can now take a look at how to adjust this depending on which camos you've already completed. If you've finished your hipfire camos, I would recommend the Sonic Brake muzzle attachment, the AN-94 Factory X 438mm barrel, your preferred optic, the Merc foregrip, and sleight of hand. This is going to be really suited to longer range battles to help you with those long shot camos, as well as adding sleight of hand to help with the constant reloading you'll be doing for those reload camos. Alternatively, if you're still working on your hipfire kills, you might be better off going with that same build, but swapping in the 5mm laser instead of the Sonic Brake. The next attachment I want to take a look at is unlocked at level 59, and is the VLK AN-94 Sealer Barrel. If we compare the range of this barrel to the previous ranges we've looked at, you'll see that it does reduce your 4-shot kill range down to 51 meters. It does have a minor advantage when it comes to movement speed, however the 7-meter reduction to your range is too much to give up for such a small gain to your mobility, so I wouldn't recommend this at all. Next up at level 61, you can start working on your kills with no attachments to get those reptile camos. You'll need 110 kills with no attachments to complete these, and as always, as soon as you reach level 61, I would suggest removing all of your attachments to start working on these straight away. Reason being is that even without attachments, you'll gain a few extra kills towards some of those other camos without even focusing on them, so it's best that you have these kills count towards the no attachment kills as well. Once you've finished with your no attachment kills, go back to any camos you have left and throw in the attachments we spoke about for that particular build. Once you have finished those no attachment kills, at level 66, you'll be able to equip the monolithic suppressor, and if we pair this with the 438mm barrel, you'll gain a further 3 meters to your 4-shot kill range, extending this to a very impressive 61 meters. When you pair this with the sound suppression of the monolithic suppressor, you've got yourself some pretty nice advantages there. You should be well and truly finished with your hipfire kills by now, so at this point I would recommend going with the monolithic suppressor, the 438mm barrel, your favourite optic, the Merc foregrip, and either recon if you've finished with your reload kills, or sleight of hand if you haven't. That brings us to the final camo, which is the Skulls camo at level 68, for earning 3 kills without dying. You'll need to do this 35 times, but is another passive camo that you really can't do too much to speed up. If you like, you could throw in the 45 round mags and replace your optic, which might just give you a bit more killing potential and ensure you're not running out of ammo just as you're trying to secure that 3rd kill. I would recommend against the 60 round mags, as you've got some diminishing returns because of the large increase in your aim down sight speed and slower movement speed. Once you've finished all of the camos that we've discussed a dedicated build for, I would recommend the following attachment combination to finish off any of the remaining passive camos you may have left. The monolithic suppressor is a staple for that sound suppression and slight increase to your range, without much of an impact to your mobility. The Merc foregrip is just an overpowered underbarrel since it helps both your recoil and hipfire spread for those instances where you do find yourself face to face with an enemy and you need to hipfire. The 45 round mags are a nice balance between a larger magazine and keeping your aim down sight speed fairly snappy. The stippled grip will help balance out the increased aim down sight speed you get with the monolithic suppressor, and then either the 438mm barrel to give yourself a really nice range, or an optic of your choice if you feel you need to. Personally, I do prefer the optic for this one, since I'm not a huge fan of the iron sights of the AN-94, but I'd understand if you're the kind of person that would prefer to use that final attachment slot on the barrel, which gives you a really solid boost to the range. That just about does it for my tips and suggested attachment combos for the AN-94. As with all of the assault rifles in Modern Warfare, it's going to be a fair grind and take you a while to get all of the camos completed. But by using the right attachments and tailoring your playstyle to each camo, you can significantly cut down on the time required to get that gold camo for your AN-94. If you've enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate if you dropped a like rating, as this really helps the discoverability of the video and encourages YouTube to suggest it to other viewers. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know down in the comments section below which weapon you'd like me to break down next. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.